First of all, I have never discussed with my son or my brother or anyone else anything having to do with their businesses, period. And what I will do is the same thing we did in our administration. There will be an absolute wall between personal and private and the government. There wasn't any hint of scandal at all when we were there, and I'll impose the same kind of strict rules. That's why I never talk with my son or my brother or anyone else, even distant family, about their business interests, period.
Now, the real question is, was that statement from President Joe Biden in August of 2019 an accurate statement? Was he telling the truth? And some are asking that question now that a new report in Business Insider demonstrates that a wealthy Democratic donor has spent quite a bit of money on purchasing the president's son's artwork. Hunter Biden apparently is engaging in some artwork, and that artwork has sold for quite a bit of money. And later we learned that that very donor who bought the artwork was appointed to an interesting position by President Joe Biden. So let's get into the details. Let's talk about who this is and what Insider found through their investigation. Now, the wealthy Democratic donor who has spent some money, although it's unclear how much money, on one of Hunter Biden's pieces of art is Elizabeth Hirsch Naftali. Okay, she's a Los Angeles real estate investor and philanthropist. Naftali is influential in California Democratic circles and is a significant Democratic donor who has given $13,414 to the Biden campaign and $29,700 to the Democratic National Campaign Committee this year. In 2022, she hosted a fundraiser headlined by Vice President Kamala Harris. So she's very clearly involved in Democratic politics. More importantly, I think this is very relevant, she has been raising money for Democratic candidates and the Biden administration in particular. But now we're also learning that this individual had purchased some of Hunter Biden's artwork. And we don't know exactly how much was spent by this specific person, but we do know that Hunter Biden has brought in at least $1.3 million by selling his art. And later, Naftali was appointed to an interesting position by Biden. Stick around for that information in just a moment. But Cenk, I want you to jump in right now and tell me what you think.
Yeah, so finally they got something. So look, I think we're the most honest show by a million miles in all of media. So all the time when the Republicans are digging and digging and digging to try to find something on Hunter, it was all nonsense. Like they're like, oh, he took drugs and we saw his penis. Okay, who cares? Who cares? And then they made up things like, oh, we have an informant at the FBI who knows that Joe Biden took a $5 million bribe. And then you look into it and you're like, no, you don't. There was some dude who called in and he said, yeah, I think he did, but I'm not even sure. It's secondhand, and he's like, and plus I don't think he even did it. That's not evidence, okay? You guys are a joke. But, and I don't want to reward digging and digging because powerful people go on fishing expeditions to destroy their opponents by digging and digging until they find something. The best example was Bill Clinton. They started on a real estate deal in Arkansas, which it turned out he was totally innocent on, until they found out an affair. And then they're like, oh, okay, we got a dress, now we're gonna moralize about your life and we're gonna smear you and all that stuff. Having said all that, this one is a little bit real.
Yeah.
And so when it's real, we tell you guys. And so these donors, they funnel money to the campaigns and sometimes to the people and to the families. And this is not new. And I like that Republican voters are finding out about it for the first time. Because remember, right-wing media keeps it from them too, because right-wing media works with Republican politicians and doesn't mind their corruption at all.
This corruption occurs on both sides. And look, it's usually very simple and it does not even need to require purchasing artwork from someone who clearly isn't an artist, just putting that out there.
Yeah, I'm gonna come back to that.
You just donate a ton of money to the candidate, and should that candidate get elected, it is highly likely that individual will reward you by appointing you to ambassador of whatever country, ambassador to the UN, whatever it is, right? It's favor for a favor. It's not as cut and dry as a quid pro quo, like it's not in text, like I'm going to give you this money and in return I'm expecting you to appoint me to this position. But you get rewarded when you're a big time donor for members of either political party. Now in this case, there's an extra component of it having to do with Hunter Biden and his artwork, right? So as I mentioned, his first art opening brought in about $1.3 million. We don't know, I know it's insane.
It's a joke.
We don't know what portion of that came from Elizabeth Hirsch Naftali, but we do know that there were other buyers who we are unfamiliar with. I'll get to those other buyers in just a moment. Now in July of 2022, 8 months after Hunter Biden's first art opening, Joe Biden announced Naftali's appointment to the Commission for the Preservation of America's Heritage Abroad. Now look, it is an unpaid position. Another caveat to be mindful of is it is unclear whether the appointment happened after she purchased the artwork or before she purchased the artwork. Insider is clear about that. Now, membership on that commission is an unpaid position that is often filled by campaign donors, family members, and political allies, the same crowd that often winds up with US ambassadorial appointments. Naftali's fundraising activities mark her as the kind of well-connected donor who often wins such appointments regardless of any relationship they might have with the president's family. And I do want to give you a few more details about other individuals who purchased some of Hunter Biden's artwork. Insider also obtained internal documents from Hunter Biden's gallery showing that a single buyer purchased $875,000 worth of his art. I believe he or she, this person purchased about 11 pieces of artwork. The documents do not indicate the buyer's identity, but Insider claims that while the Biden administration claims that we don't know who the buyers are, that Hunter Biden absolutely did know who the buyers were.
He knew at least 2 of the buyers because they told him. The gallery is not supposed to tell Hunter Biden, and the gallery swears up and down they did not tell Hunter Biden. But apparently Hunter Biden's personal friends with 2 of them, and they told Hunter, and that's why he knows who 2 of the buyers are. Okay, guys, most of the left-wing shows say, oh, there's nothing with Hunter Biden ever, ever, ever. He's the most innocent guy in the world. Most of the right-wing shows say everything he did is wrong and deeply connected to Joe Biden. No, those extremes are not true. Okay, so in this case, you're telling me that Hunter Biden was one of the top Ukrainian gas experts in the world.
Obviously, yeah.
And now also one of the great artists in the world.
Multi-talented, multifaceted.
Okay, I got news for you. I know tons of artists, and I'm sure a lot of you do too. They're not selling their work out of the gate with no previous experience at the top galleries for $1.3 million in total. I mean, come on, who could possibly believe that? And if that's true and he turns out to be magically one of the great artists in this country, I mean, how many artists in America can say that they sold $1.3 million worth of art? 20? I don't know the art world. 200 max? And he's in the top 20 out of the gate? No, come get out of here. It's totally ridiculous. Obviously they're funneling money to him. By the way, art world, if you don't point out that this is ridiculous, I mean, you're becoming a joke, a laughing stock. It's a bunch of rich people who get together and play, ass slap football. Okay, they're like, oh, great art, great art, great art. You want it? This guy won't point. Come and get out of here. Okay. It's totally ruining your credibility, if you had any credibility left. Anyways, now having said that, we don't know if she got the appointment after she bought the art, as Anna pointed out. But remember, it doesn't really matter.
Right, because she got it after the fundraisers and donating all that money, yeah. So
guys, tell me, and it doesn't matter, and not that it's means that the Bidens are not guilty. It means Joe Biden is guilty of this, but so is every president, including Donald Trump. In fact, I have a spectacular case of that in a second, okay? But so she got the money, she gave the money to Joe Biden through campaign contributions. She gave the money to Hunter Biden through the art. And we're like, oh, which corruption is it? Who cares? Like, it's absurd that we give away these positions, including top ambassador positions. This is like the bottom of the rung. The top of the rung is ambassador positions. We give them away to rich donors all the time. Oh, you bribed me, so why don't you become ambassador to France? What? Okay, like that's insane. And they do it all the time. So for Republicans, if you're rejoicing, we got Biden, we got the Democrats, who only was doing this. You know what Trump did? Sheldon Adelson gave him over $100 million twice in 2016 and 2020 to his PACs, to his campaigns, etc. So you know what he did when he was president?
Squandered it?
Well, first of all, no, he didn't squander it in 2016. He won in 2016, to be fair to him, okay? But no, as president, not only did he give Adelson every single thing he wanted, all the tax cuts, destroying the unions, shutting down a corruption case against them, and ending gambling online, okay, which saved his whole business. But on top of that, he gave his wife, Miriam Adelson, the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Now, if you're MAGA, tell me Miriam Adelson deserved the Presidential Medal of Freedom. You know what she's done in her life to deserve it? She married Sheldon Adelson. She hasn't done anything else. All these rich dilettantes, whether they're on the Democratic side or the Republican side, all they do is play ass slap football. They get together like, oh yeah, you guys are great, you guys are great. Let's buy each other's stuff. Let's buy. Which politician did you buy? I bought this politician. And which one? What did they give you? Oh, they gave me an ambassadorship. Oh, they put me on an art committee. And for Miriam, she's like, you guys are amateurs. We gave $100 million. I got the most prestigious award that the United States of America gives. And out of all of this, so who's the most guilty? Hunter Biden, Joe Biden, Donald Trump? No, in my opinion, the most guilty is the American media. They look at all of this, I mean, brazen, over the top corruption. They're like, we don't see it.
To be fair, I know you keep crediting the Republican Party for this new revelation. This was an investigative report by Insider. So this is the media unraveling or uncovering, I should say, potential corruption.
No, great point by Anna. So first of all, thank you for pointing that out. Insider, nice job on the investigative work. To be fair to the Republicans, they dug so much and they made it such a big issue that someone finally figured this out and did some investigative reporting, right? Now, but the reason why I blame media in general is the next time someone gets an important ambassadorship, the next time there's legislation that's on the line, the next time there's an election, are they going to say, oh, they voted on that bill because they got bribed by that guy? No, the American media will never say that, even though it's patently obvious to every American voter. The only people in the country who can't figure it out is people in media. Oh, why did they get the ambassadorship? And that's in unimportant stuff. Sometimes they'll mention that around the edges. Why did they pass that bill? Why did it go all to the corporations? Oh, look at the corporate donors that gave them the money to pass that bill. Never, never. The heart of corruption must be protected, and its #1 protector is mainstream media. Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.